Okay, today we are going to talk about analyzing complex characters. Our objective is I can analyze how an author creates complex characters. Characterization is how an author describes characters in order to make them come to life. A character that is described well or developed well can seem like a very real person, and they might even remind you of someone that you know. There are four character types: round, flat, dynamic, and static. Round and flat are opposites, and dynamic and static are opposites. So, round characters, think of them like well rounded. Like if someone is well rounded, we know that they have a lot of different character traits, they have a lot of different talents. So, a round character is a well developed character with many traits. A flat character is a character where the audience only sees one side and the character displays one or two traits. A dynamic character is a character who changes or learns a lesson throughout the text, and a static character stays the same. They exhibit little or no change throughout a text. Characterization types: we have direct characterization and indirect characterization. Direct characterization is when the author directly tells the audience what the character is like. For example, she was a mean old witch. We don't have to do any inferring to tell what the character is like. With indirect characterization, the author shows what the character is like. For example, she said, the mean old witch, "I'll get you, my pretties, and eat your hearts." That tells us that she is mean. She left the whimpering, cold, and hungry puppy outside in the rain. That tells us that she is mean. And the children whispered, "That's the lady at the end of the block who throws stones at kids who ask for candy at Halloween." These things show us that the character is mean and old without the author telling us directly. Tools for characterization. So remember, the direct characterization is she was a mean old witch. Each of these examples and ways that the author shows that the character is a mean old witch is done indirectly. So one way is through what the character says. A character's words and how they speak can reveal who they are as a person. For example, she cackled, "I'll get you, my pretties, and eat your hearts." The way a character thinks can tell us, the audience or the readers, something about the character. A character's thoughts and feelings show what is going on in their mind. So, an example would be the couple passed by the darkened window. The woman's milky eyes glared. Why do they get to keep their youth and health? Enjoy it. One day you'll be just like me. So, we see the character's thoughts that show us that she is mean and old. Another tool is, what is that?
The bird song.
The what?
It's the bird song.
Oh my God. Y'all are the worst. Next is the character's effect on others. How a character makes others feel, either positive or negative, reveals traits about them. For example, the children shrunk away as the woman passed by. "That's the lady at the end of the block who threw rocks at us when we were trick or treating," whispered the boy. So, the way that the character makes the children feel reveals that she is mean and she's an old witch. Next is the character's actions. What a character does and how they do it, how they perform those actions, can help the reader make a judgment about them. Actions reveal attitudes and feelings the character has. For example, if the character left the whimpering, cold, and hungry puppy outside in the rain, that tells us that she is heartless. She's a mean old witch. And last, the way the character looks. The character's appearance can reveal their interests, experiences, hobbies, and what they value. An example is her lank hair fell across her gnarled face and twisted in knots down her back, and her eyes blazed in their sockets. So that tells us that she is like a scary looking old lady. Again, telling us that she's a mean old witch without telling us that she's a mean old witch. I sincerely apologize for my family in the background. They've lost their minds. Complex characters will be round, which means that they have many different traits. If they are flat characters, they are not complex, they're boring. Complex characters will be dynamic. That means they will change throughout the course of the story. They'll have some kind of character change or character arc. And their motivations or reason for doing what they do will often change throughout the text. So they'll learn and grow, or they'll become more evil. Their motivations will change somehow. All right, an example for you. You may or may not have seen Breaking Bad, but in this show, this character, Walter White, has a very clear character arc. He is a very complex character. So he starts out over here as just this nerdy high school science teacher, middle aged guy. He's got a family, just kind of boring. Well, he finds out he has cancer and he can't pay for his treatment. So what he starts doing is running a drug business. So in the middle of the character arc, he becomes this like drug boss guy, and he's like really scary and stuff. And he has this new persona. And then at the end of the show, I'm not going to tell you what happens to him, but he continues changing throughout the story. So he very clearly changes from just a nerdy middle-aged dude to like this drug like kingpin guy. So there's an example of a complex character. He is dynamic and he is well rounded. He is a round character because we know many of his traits.